Good evening. I have heard there's been an unusually heavy traffic in prayer, at least from some seniors this past few days. However, the Lord always welcomes more, so I ask you to join me. Blessed are you, Lord God, creator of the universe. You created a place in which we can live our lives. You created our bodies, our minds, our spirit. Today we gather to celebrate all that you have created. For we are not only citizens of the universe, we are not only members of families, we are not only individuals with unique appearance, traits, abilities, we are Carthaginians together. That's who we are. That's the fact we celebrate here this evening. Guiding us in body, mind, and spirit to become Carthaginians has also been your creative gift. Now we ask, as we recognize one another for who we are, that your blessing will rest on each of us and upon all of us together. Amen.
Thanks, Ross. So welcome and good afternoon. I hope you feel the energy and adrenaline that's flowing through the room that I feel. It's very exciting and fantastic day. So welcome to our alumni, faculty, members of the Carthage Board of Trustees, honored guests, and most especially to the newest alumni of Carthage College. I'm honored to officially begin this weekend-long celebration of the Carthage class of 2013. This is my first new Alumni Convocation as president and my first commencement weekend here, and more importantly, tonight will be my first senior dinner in the library. I'm holding out for sushi. I'm proud to be a part of this momentous time in your lives, and you have made my first year at Carthage very, very special. It has been a privilege to get to know you and to interact with such a distinguished senior class. So at this time, let's begin. We're going to invite Edward Montanaro, Associate Professor of Modern Languages and Economics and Director of Carthage's Target Language Experts, to join me at the lectern.
Thank you, Mr. President. In 1989, Carthage created the Modern Language Teaching Assistant Program, better known to most of you as the Target Language Expert Program. Young scholars from Asia, Europe, South America have accepted our invitation to pursue their graduate studies at Carthage and to teach their native languages and cultures to Carthage students. We would like to recognize this year's Target Language Experts and present each of them with a certificate of appreciation. So as I call your names, would you approach the stage and wait for us to give you the certificate. So Mathieu Chauvin from France, Patricia Munoz from Spain, Jessie Huang from China, Lina Martin from Colombia, Laura Mendoza from Colombia, Brenda San Jose from Nicaragua, Marta Agüero from Spain, Clémence Brion from France, Takuma Miura from Japan, and Risa Wada from Japan, this year's Target Language Experts. A thousand pardons. And Ivan Espinosa from Colombia. My mistake.
Thank you, Professor Montanaro, and congratulations to our TLEs. Your contributions to Carthage have been plentiful and very much appreciated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Deborah Waller, Chairman of the Carthage Board of Trustees. Mrs. Waller graduated from Carthage in 1999 with a bachelor's degree in elementary and special education. She is now the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Jockey International. She joined Jockey in 1982 and rose steadily through the ranks, succeeding her mother as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer in 2001. Mrs. Waller became a Carthage trustee in 1999, following her mother's tradition of generous support for the college. It was immediate, right out of undergraduate school. Mrs. Waller is a director of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and launched a corporate citizenship initiative at Jockey committed to strengthening adoptive families by providing funding, employee volunteers, and donations to support and raise awareness of post-adoption services. Please join me in welcoming the rather amazing Mrs. Deborah Waller.
Thank you. Thank you. You too can graduate and go places fast. Well, thank you, President Woodward, and congratulations to the Carthage class of 2013. It is my pleasure to welcome you into the Carthage alumni community on behalf of the Board of Trustees. For the last 4 years, you have lived, studied, competed, struggled, laughed, learned, and thrived in one of the most vibrant college communities in the country. Those 4 years have gone by quickly, and look how much you've changed. On Sunday, you will receive a marker of all that you have accomplished here. You will begin new jobs, move into new communities, embark on exciting careers or graduate studies, and build your lives. The world beyond Carthage may not be what you expect. You will surely have new challenges and new struggles, but that's okay. Your time at Carthage has prepared you for the unexpected. What you may not realize now, but you will most certainly grow to appreciate, is that your Carthage education has prepared you to succeed throughout your life. You have learned to ask the difficult questions and to examine issues from other perspectives. You have learned to solve problems. You have learned to face challenges with courage, intelligence, and integrity. You have learned to adapt to new environments, to make some mistakes, and to bounce back stronger and more certain of the right path. You leave here with the skills and strength to determine your best path and achieve what you put your mind and heart towards accomplishing. And as you enter the world beyond Carthage, know that you move forward with the support of this special family behind you and with deep friendships you've developed with your classmates and your professors. That's one of the things that is so remarkable about Carthage. We support one another on campus and in the larger world. Along with the great privileges afforded Carthage alumni comes the explicit responsibility to help those who follow. Be glad for both. The names on the buildings of this campus belong to people who have, through hard work, perseverance, and some good fortune, were able to share their success with Carthage, with all of us. These high achievers also funded professorships and scholarships. Most of these people supported Carthage students in small ways for many years before giving big gifts. In fact, thousands of alumni are giving small gifts today. As you travel your life's journey, remember that your time here at Carthage was affected in thousands of ways, large and small, by the generosity of others. Remember the challenges you conquered here, how you grew, how you helped others, and how they helped you. Remember this weekend and all the joy and pride it brings. Remember Carthage. This community is forever yours. You are now among the thousands of alumni who are making Carthage stronger. Congratulations to the class of 2013. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's faculty speaker, Maria Carrig. Maria Carrig is a professor of English, theater, and great ideas at Carthage. Her students describe her as masterful, inspiring, and exciting, and above all else, passionate about sharing her love of literature with her students. Last month, Professor Carrig received the college's highest teaching honor when she was named the 2012-2013 Distinguished Teacher of the Year. Please welcome Professor Maria Carrig.
Hello, I am delighted to have the honor of speaking to our distinguished new alumni today. And it is with great pride that I celebrate your achievements. I also want to welcome our graduates, family, and friends, and also my fellow faculty, all of whom have helped you graduates get where you are today. And I think we all deserve a hand for that. On Sunday, you'll be receiving a bachelor's degree from one of the great liberal arts colleges in the United States, and you'll be ending an important chapter in your life. You'll also be starting a new one. One of the great shocks of leaving college, I think, is losing the ready-made community one comes to take for granted here. The friends and the professors, the daily intellectual stimulation, where even if you sometimes grudged having to wake up to get to class, you always knew where you could find a great conversation, and where your interests and your creativity have been encouraged and valued. You must make your own community now, and you must find ways of keeping your intellect and your imagination alive. And this is both harder and easier than it sounds, and I'd like to give you a couple of examples. The poet John Milton, who wrote a pretty good poem called Paradise Lost, got out of college, he went to Cambridge in England, realizing that he had studied the wrong thing. He wanted to be a minister, and so he had majored in divinity, but in the course of his studies he realized he had no calling. And so when he finished college, having no professional skills except the ability to write poetry, he had to go back home and live with his parents. And he stayed there for 6 years. He didn't make any money, and he had nothing to put on a resume. Instead, he created a reading project for himself. He decided to read everything worthwhile that had ever been written. He made it through most of the list, writing some brilliant sonnets while he was at it, and meanwhile developing as a political activist. Then he wrote Paradise Lost. So, whatever you do after Carthage, keep reading. Keep talking to your friends, your colleagues at work, your lovers, people you meet at the bus stop about books, about ideas. Keep creating. Seek out people who are emotionally alive and intellectually alive, and find out what they have to teach you. Learn from them. Teach them yourselves. Try not to spend too much time attached to an electronic device. Don't be one of those people my student Ben McGuigan writes about in his poem, Nostalgia Hammers. This is a quote. those that sit and are vacantly stimulated, the simulated existence that calls your attention by flashing you a picture of a memory that you snapped with your human device, your only connection to people, the pixelated existence that is life. Please don't mistake pixels for life. When I graduated from college, I wanted to live the glamorous life in New York City. However, in 1984, glamorous jobs were in short supply. So I took a job as a secretary at a law firm. I found a one-bedroom apartment in Queens with a roommate who was in the Martha Graham Dance Company. My first day at work, I took the long subway ride to work with about 10,000 other people who all seemed to be squeezed into one graffiti-ridden subway car. I walked with long files of people disappearing into high-rises where we would all be corralled for 8 hours a day. I showed up at work on the 15th floor and was directed to a vast typing pool surrounded by attorney offices. A dense cloud of smoke hovered over the room from the chain-smoking secretaries. In those days, smoking had not yet been banned from public buildings. And these were punctuated by the shouts of the attorneys, frequently involving four-letter words, calling out orders to us. As the day progressed, I got more and more depressed. And eventually, I found myself crying into the keyboard, a situation that was worsened by the fact that nobody even noticed. That was a difficult job, but I have incredible memories of those 2 years in New York City. I had a couple of friends from college, and we used to meet for pizza or sit in Washington Square Park, tell stories about our jobs and reminisce about college, argue about books and the way Mayor Koch was ruining the city, and go to free concerts of bad rock music. I visited a dance rehearsal of my roommate at the Martha Graham Company. I started to watch my fellow passengers on the L and wonder about their stories. After a while, I decided to write a story myself about the 9-to-5 routine. I called it Zombies Among Us. I'd like to tell you this tale was published in the New Yorker. I started a craze for zombie literature. Alas, that is not what happened. My story was never published. But somehow this transformed my experience so that even now, when I remember those years, I have a fondness for Washington Square Park and cigarette smoke and watching the passing parade in the public street. And at the end of those 2 years, although I had nothing to put on my resume, I had saved enough money to go backpacking in Europe with a friend and to apply to graduate school. So I tell you to maintain your sense of wakefulness in the world. Watch the people on the subways. Smell the cigarette smoke. Don't be afraid to wander. Notice the spaces between things. Walk down the alleys. Recently, I was conversing with one of my students, one of my many favorite students, about Shakespeare's play, The Winter's Tale. I was thinking, as I so often do, I can't believe they pay me to do this. We were talking about the young heroine of the play, Perdita. She's a shepherdess. She's, in fact, though, a lost princess whose evil father abandoned her 16 years before. And I was thinking how much Perdita is like you all, my students, both a shepherdess and a princess. Fresh, naive, new to the world, yet sophisticated and noble and ready to take on the powers that be. In the play, Perdita acts as the queen of a spring festival and hands out gifts to her guests. To the older folk at the festival, she gives rosemary for remembrance and rue, the herb of grace. Grace and remembrance be to you both, she says. And it struck me that these two gifts that Shakespeare's heroine gives, grace and remembrance, are gifts that we exchange with each other, students and faculty. We've given each other the gift of grace. You, through your idealism, your energy, your demands that the world be a better place, you give us hope for the future, for change, and confidence that you will remember the past, the great intellectual tradition that we have tried to pass on to you. And we at Carthage, who remain behind, share with you, our beloved students, the gift of remembrance, and that each of you with your unique character will be remembered by the professors, the administrators, and staff whose lives you have touched. And your contributions to this community now form part of our collective identity and our collective memory. And in turn, we leave you with memories of your experiences here that are now part of who you are. These memories will always be with you. For as the writer Evelyn Waugh said, we possess nothing, certainly, but the past. Carthage has been a stimulating and an invigorating way station for you. And I hope that it will remain with you as life goes on, as you make many and daily new starts in your lives. We will miss you. As Shakespeare's wise fool said at the end of his play, Twelfth Night, a great while ago the world begun, but that's all one, our play is done. And the rain, it raineth every day. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Carrig, for your dedication to your students and for your words here today. One of the fun things about being in college is that you run across people like Professor Carrig, perhaps more frequently inside these sort of hallowed halls than you might on the subway. And I would just urge you to keep your eyes open for people like her throughout your life who will help you and lead you and inspire you. Be ready to find them. It is a Carthage tradition for members of the graduating class to select one of their fellow graduates to speak today at the new Alumni Convocation. So I'm pleased to introduce this year's speaker, Patrick Lambden. Mr. Lambden has been an active member of the Carthage community, participating in the Carthage Chamber Orchestra, the Western Heritage Fellow Program, the Hannibal Lecture Series, and Tau Delta Psi. He will graduate on Sunday with majors in Great Ideas and Classical Studies and a minor in Ancient Greek. So please, Patrick, you ready?
Yeah. So this is it, the big moment. I must confess that while I'm standing here, I'm pressured by two desires. The first being that after studying language and literature for 4 years, I feel a tremendous pressure to say something interesting and perhaps to even say it well. The second, of which I've been reminded many times by my roommates and classmates, and which may be more important, is to say something quickly. But seeing that I've already wasted some time, I feel like I should move on and get to the point. The one word that keeps being said at me over and over again by strangers, parents, teachers, and friends is congratulations. But I don't really feel like I should be congratulated. There is some other feeling lurking there. This feeling is one that I think a lot of you share, and it is a feeling that I don't think is confined to the new alumni of Carthage College. I think almost all undergrads feel the same way leading up to their graduation. I have a close friend who recently graduated from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. He majored in ag engineering, and the two of us have an agreement. He teaches me things I will never need to know or use, like the inner workings of a tractor. And I teach him things that he will never need to know or use, like how to question Galileo's rhetoric and what picture it might paint of Aristotelian philosophy. A week or two ago, I saw that my friend had posted a photo on Facebook late at night. He was sitting in his on-campus apartment. It was the last night at his school before he moved out, and he was toasting his webcam with a beer in his hand. And I've never seen him take a photo with an alcoholic beverage before. The description under the photo said, "You graduate from high school thinking, hey, I'm pretty hot stuff. But what more could college teach me? And then sometime later, you graduate from college knowing that you know absolutely nothing. and here's to knowing nothing. But he looked sad, and I don't know why he looked sad. Maybe it was because he was drinking wheat beer. But I think it was more significant than that. The whole reason that I am giving this speech, the reason that we are all gathered here this weekend, is not to dress up in funny hats, but it's to signify an end to a time in our lives where we are surrounded by youth, bombarded with interesting ideas, and feel none of the terrible pressure of the real world. In the past 4 years, hard work has been defined as writing at most a paper a week and balancing reading, which is so exhausting, with video games and deciding which friends to hang out with. Next year, fall will not, hopefully, be heralded in by fraternity parties and emails from Abigail and the registrar begging us to please, please, please finally register for classes because the deadline is tomorrow. It will be heralded by waking up so much earlier than we have been for the past 4 years in order to go to work at some kind of grinding job or difficult graduate school. We are vaguely aware that there will be a monotony to our independent lives which will exist even if we are lucky enough to be doing what we love the year after we graduate. We will worry about rent, food, gas, and so many other trivial things that are easy to forget when caught up in the activity of living on a college campus. So, what are we supposed to take away from this weekend? The end of our 4-year stretch of fun and learning? What will hold us up above the crush of the real world? It may be simple, but I'd like to think it was those things that I had talked about earlier. Sure, the degree is great, and it may lead you to employment, especially a degree like mine in great ideas in classical studies. But that degree won't help you when you need to complain about your roommates, Jeff and Evan. I promised I'd give them a shout-out. I don't know if that's what they were expecting. It won't help when you're feeling down about about how your life has gone. And it sure won't help when it's 3:30 in the morning and you can't sleep and you need someone to talk to. You see, the sentiment that my friend expressed, that at the end of college, what you've learned is that you know nothing, is perhaps the most critical step, I think, in higher education. Maybe it's a little too Socratic to say, but no matter how many disciplines you learn, no matter how many vocabulary words you memorize, nothing motivates a genuine search for truth more strongly than the feeling that you know nothing. It is the first step towards lifelong learning. So having done the coursework, having completed the academic rigor of the last 4 years, we now, hopefully, know how to think and write critically. We have the piece of paper that allows us to get a job that pays X many more dollars a year. Congratulations, as some would say. But what I would urge you to do in this final weekend before graduation is to waste a little bit more time with your friends, especially the ones you've made here at Carthage, before we all leave. Teach each other something that you will never have a need to know, because those are the things that matter late at night and stave off the crush of the coming day. And even more importantly, though, I would encourage you all to learn to feel comfortable with the fact that was put so well on Facebook, perhaps the most unlikely of all places to find wisdom, that you, as well as everyone else, knows absolutely nothing, and gladly embrace the levity and the tremendous amount of charity towards others that comes with that realization. Thank you. For many years, the graduating students at Carthage symbolically passed this key of knowledge to their successors. Beginning in 1927, the senior representative tied a ribbon adorned with the class year onto the wooden key and presented it to a junior class representative during an annual convocation. Will Hannah Keller, class of 2014, please join me at the lectern? Where's the ribbon? Oh, okay. Thank you. As representative for the class of 2013, I will now attach our ribbon and present the key and the history, knowledge, and heritage it represents to the representative of the class of 2014, Hannah Keller. Can you hold it? Oh, I'm supposed to hold it and wait for pictures. Yeah. Would President Woodward please join me at the lectern? President Woodward, on behalf of the class of 2013, it is my pleasure to announce to you the class gift of the class of 2013. It'll be an aquarium for Carthage's new Science Center. I'm proud to report that more than 90% of the class of 2013 contributed to this gift. This accomplishment was possible only through the dedicated efforts of the class of 2013 gift committee. Will everyone who participated on this committee please stand? Thank you. Thank you. I've still got this. Members of the class of 2013, Blink of an Eye is our senior film, and it is about you. It is for you. It is a production by your fellow students celebrating your years at Carthage and your accomplishments that we honor during this weekend.
Bring her in.
Where am I?
You're at Carthage College, miss.
How did I get here?
A series of wise financial decisions.
Huh? Who are you?
I'm Jason Ramirez. I'm the Dean of Students.
Why am I here?
Usually seniors have that figured out by now. We understand you've had a very traumatic experience.
No, you don't understand. I don't know who I am.
I've not heard that one before. It's an older ID, but this is you, Katie Zutter, class of 2013.
That's me? I don't recognize the name.
I'm sure it'll come with time. And until then, I have just the thing for you. Hi, this is Jason. I need a student for a tour. Send me your best.
Jason, you rang?
Not bad, Jeffrey. Not bad. This is the student I mentioned. She's a senior here at Carthage, but seems to have lost her memory. I need you to take her around on a campus tour. Can you stop with the ring?
Oh, sorry about that. So what you're saying is that you want me to help her remember 4 years of college? That's gonna be a tough one.
I think you'll do just fine. Best of luck.
So, what do you want to see first?
Oh, Katie. Katie's Utter, or so it seems.
Nice to meet you, Katie. Jeff.
Well, Jeff, seeing as I don't remember anything about campus, why don't you pick the first place?
That's a great idea. They gave me access to your online schedule, and it looks like you have an 8 a.m. history class.
8 a.m. as a senior?
It's a place to start.
Yes.
This symmetrical approach to strategy. What is that going to get us?
So was I a history major?
No, your major's in great ideas.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
Zutter, get in here.
Me?
She's having a little bit of trouble remembering a few things.
Well, that's okay. There's no test today.
No, like, she doesn't remember who she is.
Hey, if you're having a problem with history, you've come to the right place. So we were working last time on our personal history projects, so we need to get into our groups, and let's pick up where we left off.
So we were working on our personal history projects?
Oh yeah, so we were talking about how our personal history.
Well, my history began when I came to Carthage for a tennis camp.
When I moved in early, it was tough because you were trying to meet new people and meet friends and stuff, and being up here from where no one else had come from, you know, there weren't a lot of friends. So it was tough, but it was fun.
The move-in process took most of the first day. We moved in all my stuff and met each other, and then went to, I don't remember what that ceremony's called.
This was my first time sharing a room with anybody else. It wasn't exactly awkward, but it was different.
I couldn't believe that it was real, that I was actually a big girl now, and I moved into Johnson and met my roommate for the first time, and we hit it off right away.
My first roommate, we'll say he was a little out there.
I guess the weirdest part was when my parents pulled away and I realized, oh, I can do whatever I want.
I came here with the idea that I was going to jump in everything head first and just get as involved as possible.
But one of the things that actually helped me get in really quickly at Carthage was my first class.
My first day of classes started a lot like high school. I remember walking into a classroom of about the same number of people that were in my high school classes.
I was very nervous, but it went pretty well.
You get a wide variety of classes. There's so many.
The most unique and the most fun class actually was water aerobics.
Music history.
The woodblock printing class that I'm in currently.
The Latin class over J-term.
Heritage.
My 2 101 classes.
An aviation course, actually, with Dr. Foffel and Dr. Zornigan.
The Nicaragua J-term trip was by far the most unique and definitely the most life-changing experience I had at Carthage.
So, any of it coming back?
No, not really. What's that?
Oh, that's Kissing Rock. It's from the old campus. They say if you kiss someone here for the first time, you get married across the street in the chapel. But seeing as that I'm still single, it doesn't work.
So people come here to kiss?
Oh, no. They come here to spray paint the rock. They're letters and colors and stuff.
They paint a rock?
Yeah, it's kind of like sanctuary graffiti.
You guys here to kiss or paint?
Neither, really. He's just showing me around campus.
Oh.
Hey, my paint's freezing up.
Being a part of an organization on campus is really a great feeling.
I've been in quite a few in my experience here at Carthage.
On campus, I'm involved in Kumbaya.
I am mostly involved in my sorority, Alpha Chi Omega, and in the neuroscience club on campus. I am involved in Carthage Globetrotters. I did a little bit of CAB.
Tau Sigma Chi social fraternity, and I was a 3.5-year member of Carthage Chapel Choir.
Women's ensemble, and I am in the dance department.
I got overly involved with Student WIA my freshman year. Overly involved, I won the most enthusiastic award.
Carthage Choir, the Beta Phi Epsilon.
And I'm also a member of Draft, which is a graphic design organization.
I'm a part of a fraternity called Delta Omega Nu.
I was involved in my fraternity, Delta Upsilon. I served as the Vice President of Administration.
DU has really been one of those experiences that just completely shaped both me as a person and as a college student.
Being in a fraternity has shown me a great family bonding.
I think it actually helped me become more of a social person as well.
I think being in a fraternity helped me loosen up a little and kind of find my rebellious side.
The support I felt from all of my brothers has been immense in some really dicey times in my life.
As a part of Greek life, everyone has to go through pledging, and I went through pledging as a freshman. And it's an experience that I can't explain unless you go through it. You get crazy close with this random group of girls who you're thrown with, and they become your best friends. I live with all of them now.
I hope that the work that I've done in my sorority and what I've done here on campus will hopefully inspire other people to reach for their dreams and pursue what they want to do.
Hot cup of coffee though was a good idea.
Oh!
You okay? Did you burn yourself?
No, I'm okay. I'm seeing some things.
Well, maybe some food will help.
I could eat.
What's your favorite?
Subcon.
Well, that's great, but Subcon's gone a while ago. But Student Union, that's new. You want to go take a look?
Okay, yeah. So what did they do to the natatorium?
Oh, they changed it from a place with a pool to a union with pool tables.
Oh.
But why don't you have a seat and I'll go get us some food?
Do you want to use any of my swipes?
Swipes? Oh, no, I got enough points for both of us.
Points?
Loser pass a Red Bull?
My favorite spot? Well, everybody's going to say the lake, and that's not untrue.
I love hanging out in the JAC.
Either the golf room, actually, or being down by the beach.
I like all of campus.
The dance studio.
The chapel.
Starbucks.
Whenever I need to get some work done, I just plop myself in front of a window where I can see the lake.
Going down, sitting on like the rock couches and looking at the lake.
Definitely that bench by the oaks, around that big tree.
The grassy area across from the chapel.
I really like just hanging out in like the library or Einstein's.
Probably my lab space, as sad and nerdy as that sounds.
I ended up coming out here and just falling in love with it. And the campus itself, just the small atmosphere.
The professors here at Carthage they really care about their students, and they make sure that you have everything you need to succeed in their class.
I think the professor that has inspired me the most is John McClay.
My favorite professor at Carthage is Professor Rivero Vila.
Dr. Paul Martino, he was probably my biggest mentor throughout my college career.
And Montanera!
Definitely Danny Geary.
Dr. Ripley.
John McClay.
Dmitry Shapovalov.
Dr. Teagle.
Kathy Ryan.
Lorian Schwaber and Corrine Ness.
I definitely have really strong bonds with a lot of my professors.
I have loved every single professor that I've had at Carthage, and I look up to all of them.
Hey, little hop over here.
How did I get here?
Davey! Where'd you go?
Heads up!
Oh.
Katie?
Playing a sport for 4 years is definitely something that has really impacted me. I definitely try to develop my leadership skills a lot more my senior year to just show that on and off the field that I care for these girls.
I've definitely felt like I've gained skills from being on the team.
It brings out things in you that you didn't know you had because you're with other people, and you might not have been able to do that on your own.
We just had our last tournament on Friday, and it was a pretty emotional experience. We played, and each hole had more meaning, I guess, than some of the other tournaments we played in.
I'm pretty athletic. I played intramural soccer once here, and I've been in the TARC like twice. I did yoga for my exercise sports science credit.
Going from
Like from somebody who wasn't even supposed to make the team my freshman year all the way to somebody who's got a couple top 10 times in Carthage history.
Intramural soccer, it was disorganized, but it was fun, and it was really nice. I hadn't played soccer for almost a year at that point, so it was really fun to just get back out on the field and just kind of kick the ball around.
I remember spending a lot of time in short shorts in the calf during my track and field days.
I think I'll always continue to play at, summer leagues and things like that. Never really, I can't play competitively like that anymore, but I'll definitely still be involved with the sport as much as I can.
There you are. I've been looking all over for you. How'd you get out of the nurse's office so quickly? Hey, are you okay?
Yes, sorry. Everything's just coming back in such a rush.
You're starting to remember even more.
I know this place. I mean, I really recognize it. It's like I've been here before.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was here. It would have been yours too. It was convocation, and all the students, we were sitting in here, and I remember President Woodward.
Campbell?
Yeah, of course, Campbell. And he said that funny little speech about the students, seeing the person we were going to marry for the first time, remember?
Yes, I remember. I'm remembering more and more.
That's great, Katie. Katie, are you ready?
Jeff? What do you mean?
Jeff? Who's Jeff? It's Augie.
Augie?
Yeah, we've established that. And we also established that you gotta get up. We're gonna be late. You're wrinkling your gown. Seriously, Katie, we have to go.
I miss most about Carthage. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, where do I even begin? I'm gonna cry.
I guess the thing I'm going to miss the most is the relationships that I've made here at Carthage.
The people.
The people. Yeah, the people.
I think I'm gonna miss people holding doors open.
If you want to go hang out with a friend, you just have to walk down the hallway. The atmosphere of being able to walk down the street, see several people that you know.
You hang out with your friends, you study with your friends, you'll live with some of your friends. I mean, it really does become this kind of surrogate family away from your family.
And of course, everybody's going to miss the lake.
I'll miss the atmosphere of being in class.
I think I'm gonna miss probably all the opportunities that I've had here.
I'm gonna miss having a gym that's free.
Just the campus itself, because it's such a close-knit environment.
Friends and the connections that I've made here.
It's just so nice to have that feeling that you're never really alone.
So it's gonna be kind of hard not seeing them every day, but we'll stay in touch and probably, get together still, so.
It's gonna be sad, but I know we're gonna keep in touch.
Yeah, it's just been a really great 4 years.
I'm ready.
We need more tuition dollars so we can pay the electric bill. If you could just make a deposit at the registrar's later today, that would be great. We're going to keep going. Thank you very much to the students who worked on this film. You did a great job. We will be sure that every single member of the class of 2013 receives a DVD copy of the film in the mail as soon as possible. This film represents one of the outstanding achievements by our students in and out of the classroom. Everyone at Carthage appreciates the incredible range of successes of all of our students. I would also like to personally thank this amazing class for their class gift. You may not know this, but it is common at colleges and universities around the country for about 40% of seniors to contribute to a class gift. The 90% represented here today at Carthage is simply astounding, and it is another sign of the close and caring community that we create. The Carthage family is powerful and frankly quite beautiful. Thank you again for your generosity and your dedicated allegiance. Yeah. So your program indicates that the next speaker is Tom Kelly, president of the Carthage Alumni Council. Unfortunately, Tom is quite ill and can't make it today, but he sends his very best wishes to the class of 2013 and has asked Rod Carter to speak on behalf of the Alumni Council. Mr. Carter is a shareholder attorney at the Brookfield office of Davis and Kielthau Law Firm, which has offices throughout the state of Wisconsin. He has a law degree from Marquette University. Members of the class of 2013, Mr. Carter started his illustrious career right where you sit today. He graduated with a bachelor's degree from Carthage College in 1987. So now in the full light, Mr. Carter.
Thank you, President Woodward. And I have to make an observation to Professor Carrig. I appreciated her talk, but I can't help but observe that if she had started her legal career in Wisconsin, she may have had an easier start because we're kinder and gentler to legal secretaries here. Understand, but I want everyone to know that my secretary has not cried in 48 hours, and we struck a deal that I would not say anything mean to her, call her any names, or do anything to her. Once I found out that I had to prepare a speech for Tom Kelly, who can't be here, if she would write the speech for me, I would leave her alone. So that was a good deal, and she hasn't cried at the end of this week, but we have a fresh start on Tuesday for that. So graduating class of 2013, on behalf of the Alumni Council, I want to congratulate you on your impending graduation. It's an outstanding accomplishment. For many of you, this has most likely been one of, if not the most significant accomplishments in your young lives. It is my sincerest hope that as each of you continue your journey through life, that you earn the opportunity to celebrate many more equally impressive accomplishments. Additionally, I want to personally welcome you as the newest members of the Carthage Alumni Association, which now includes almost 20,000 Carthage graduates. As the newest members of our Alumni Association, I would submit to you that now is the time to begin thinking about how you can begin giving back to Carthage. Whether you realize it or not, in just a few days, few hours, you're going to become one of the older siblings in the Carthage family. And your younger siblings will be looking to you for guidance and support. And whether giving back means donating your time, money, or skills, I strongly encourage you to find that best mechanism for you to remain closely connected to Carthage as you prepare for the next phase of your lives. Although it doesn't feel like it, it has been 26 years since I was sitting where you are sitting now, preparing for the next phase of my life as you are today. During my time at Carthage, in the 26 years since my graduation, I found that three overarching, fairly straightforward concepts had guided me in the pursuit of my success, and I want to share them with you today in the hopes that they might provide you with some guidance as you move into the next phase of your life. So number one, I would suggest that you work hard in everything you do. Hard work pays off, and it's the best way to make up for lack of experience. And you'll continue to realize that you have that lack of experience even when you've been out for 26 years, like some of us in the room. Number two is don't be afraid to fail. Learn from your failures and go on to the next challenge. Remember, if you're not failing, you're not growing. Remember that Michael Jordan once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 3,000 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." Number 3 is commit yourself to become lifelong learners. Remember that Louis Pasteur, who we all know made major contributions to the field of chemistry and medicine, and is famous for his germ theory for the development of vaccine, was considered just a mediocre student in college. In fact, he ranked 15th out of 22 students in his undergraduate chemistry class. Not willing to allow that to define him, Louis Pasteur committed himself to becoming a lifelong learner who continuously honed his craft. Each day, he made it a point to go to bed a little wiser than when he woke that morning. And it's because he committed himself to becoming a lifelong learner that he was able to become so successful. No different than Louis Pasteur, your learning should not end when you walk across the platform on Sunday. During your career at Carthage, your professors have imparted on you the wisdom and knowledge to educate yourself through the use of critical thinking, analytical reasoning, and independent research. Irrespective of the fact that you have just completed coursework from a top-tier college and will be graduated on Sunday, I regret to inform you that without a commitment to lifelong learning, you are not going to become successful merely based on what you already know. And so I challenge you, the graduating class of 2013, to work hard in everything that you do, to accept that failure is inevitable, but the importance of each failure is to learn from it and grow from it. To find a way to I also challenge you to find a way to remain closely connected to Carthage. And I challenge you to become lifelong learners. Go to bed every night a little bit smarter than you were that morning. I'm certain that this graduating class will have many more impressive accomplishments over the coming years, and I'm looking forward to reading about each of you in future issues of the Carthaginian. And as you go forward with your Carthage degree, I want each of you to come to the same realization that I had after graduating from Carthage 26 years ago. This institution has served you well, and it's prepared you for the world beyond this campus. There isn't any comparison to the feeling of pride that you will all experience at some point in time when you tell others that you're a Carthage alum. Also know that I welcome any of you to contact me if you believe there is something that I might be able to assist you with as you begin your careers or graduating studies. So on behalf of the Alumni Council, welcome to Carthage and the Alumni Association. I want to thank you for your participation in the new Alumni Convocation. My fellow members of the Alumni Council and I look forward to joining you at the Senior Promenade Dinner in the Hedberg Library following the benediction. You should remain in the chapel until after the recessional, and after that time you can enter the library through the main doors or through the tents to the north of the building.
And the prayers go on. All four of our speakers this afternoon have been very subtle in their allusion to the class song. But I figured it out. Hi ho, it's off to work we go. Which is certainly cause for prayer. And a number of folks who don't know just where that song is going to lead them are praying somewhat differently. Oh Lord, help me be patient and put a smile on my face next week when Mom asks me where I'm going and how soon I'll be home. As we leave now to celebrate, we ask God's almighty blessing on our food and fellowship, upon our memories and our hopes. May your God, our God, the only God, bless you and keep you, guard and guide you, inspire and enable you. And may that God keep us all together, knowing that we are Carthaginians. Amen.